Okay, followership, groups, teams, community, conflict, part 2. Followership and leadership require a relationship. An effective followership, leadership, relationship is really more of a partnership, and here we compare the two. In a followership, you have a superior and a subordinate following orders. You're loyal or you're not to the leader. Information is usually top down, and you're expected to stay on the path. In a partnership, you're more partners in the work relationship. You have collaborative efforts, you give and take. There's commitment to a vision that's larger than just this leader follower role. With a partnership, it's not top down, it's up and down and across. And you have the ability to experiment as long as you keep the goal in mind. If we go back to our followership styles, you know what pathway you need to be on. If you're going to be one of partnership, then you need to be more of an effective follower. You may be familiar with or have heard of Stephen Covey. He wrote the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. In developing personal potential, you move to partnership. And here are the 7 things that Stephen Covey says. He says, be proactive, begin with the end in mind, put first things first, think win-win, seek first to understand, then to be understood, synergize, remember that word, synergy, and sharpen the saw. To be proactive means you have the ability to choose and to act with integrity, not just to take initiative, not to blame others, but to be responsible for your own life. To begin with the end in mind means to start with a clear mental image of your destination. What is the goal? Remember our change tips from the last lecture. Keep the goal in mind. And then he says, put first things first. Rather than getting tangled up with things, time, activities, focus on preserving and enhancing your relationships and on accomplishing results. Win-win, you've probably heard this a million times. Without cooperation, the organization cannot succeed. You need to act in ways that ensure a mutual success. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. It's key to effective communication. A lot of people just don't listen with the intent of understanding. They're too busy thinking about what they want to say next. If you seek first to understand, you have to be non-judgmental. You have to be able to empathize with the other person's situation. We call this empathetic listening. You get inside the other person's frame of reference so that you can better understand where they're coming from. Synergize, that's the combined action. When people work together, they create new alternatives and solutions. The greatest opportunity for synergy occurs when people have different viewpoints, and we have to keep this in mind. You need to seek out people who challenge you. And then there's sharpen the saw. It's actually a combination of the 6 previous. It's the process of using and continuously renewing your physical, mental, social, spiritual, all aspects of your life. It requires you to have a balanced life if you're going to be an effective follower or an effective leader. This is all good stuff, and if you're interested, I recommend the book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Now we're talking about follower power. You can be a resource for your leader, and you can influence your leader. Here's a nice little table: how to be a resource, how to help the leader be a good leader, how to view the leader realistically, and how to build a relationship. We're going to focus on that little square, building a relationship. Effective followers work towards a relationship with their leaders, which includes trust, the ability to speak honestly, and by building that relationship, you make every interaction more meaningful. We have mutual respect rather than authority or submission. Ask about your level or your position. Welcome feedback and criticism, like what experience led you to that opinion. Ask the leader to tell you company stories. These are ways to get at the personal aspect and show the leader that you have an interest, in them as a person. You can pause this and read the other boxes if you'd like. We'll go on to part 2. Actually, I think it's part 3.